Good morning and welcome to day 6. Yesterday, we talked about two important terms when it comes to financial independence. That's cash flow and net worth. We had a look at our cash flow, which is all the money coming in minus all the money going out. And we saw what was coming in and what was going out, right? And we also understood exactly where the money was going to and why. And we saw what was the difference. So your incoming minus your outgoing is what you can actually save. So we had a look at that too. Secondly, we looked at our net worth, which is your assets and your liabilities, right? And the difference between them. And assets are all the things that you own and the value of what you own, whereas your liabilities is the value of the things that you owe, so your debts or loans or anything like that. And the difference is your financial net worth. Now, for many people, you might have noticed that your net worth might have been negative, but fear not, because now that you know where it is, you can start taking steps based on your goals to get to that place that you want to be financially. Today, we're going to talk all about financial decluttering, and that will help push us towards our goals much faster. My name is Elizabeth Bukor, and I am the founder of Wealth from Little. I'm also your host in this 30-day morning course. Okay, financial decluttering. When I look at clutter, and I think about clutter, for me, it's a collection of things, both wanted and unwanted, but in a very disorganized and disorderly way. And it reduces visibility, movement, and our ability to gain momentum. That is our ability to do things quickly. Imagine trying to get to the back of a house and the house is full of clutter, clothes, things, books, so much clutter, and you're in the front of the house. On a normal day where the space was clear, you might be able to do that in 5 seconds. But when there's so much stuff, it slows you down. 1, you can't see what's ahead. 2, you can't move quickly, right? You can't run as fast as you would have if the space was clear. But to create a life that you want, filled with joy and abundance, you must make space for what you desire. Many of us, we lack clarity and we lack space to make long-lasting changes because of clutter. I love the song by Jonathan McReynolds. It's called Make Room. And the lyrics go like, I make space for what I treasure. I make time for what I want. I choose my priorities. Right. And for many of us, sometimes we set goals and we think things like, oh, I want to increase my income. So we set a goal to earn a certain amount. I want to save more. So we set a goal to save a certain amount. I want a job that won't take me away from spending time with my family, my friends, or even just by myself. So we set a goal to earn a new job that will provide us that type of lifestyle. But unless we move ourselves towards that goal, we'll never actually make it a priority. So and then that just leads us to unnecessarily being dissatisfied in life, because we don't actually make room for what we treasure. We don't make time for what we actually want. We don't choose our priorities. But really deep down, we want more financial independence. We want more money. We want more time for ourselves, but we don't make time or room or space for those things to grow and to be created. Clutter slows down momentum and it obstructs visibility. It obstructs the space that we need to break through from unhelpful, deeply rooted patterns and routines. Right? Because without visibility, there's no clarity. We can't see. Without clarity, there's no movement. We can't really move because we can't see where we're going. And without movement, we can't gain momentum so that we can do things really quickly. So today we're going to declutter, right? And we're going to declutter in 3 main areas. First, we're going to declutter our words and our conversations. Then we're going to declutter our finances and our paperwork, our financial paperwork. And then we're going to declutter our environment, both physical and digital environment. Because excessive clutter in our environment, it usually doesn't start there. When you see excessive paperwork, excessive clothes, excessive stuff everywhere, it doesn't start in the physical environment. It usually builds up in our mind, in our emotions, in our feelings, and spills out into our physical world. So first are words and conversations. So your assignment for today is to declutter in these 3 areas. Our words and conversations, our finances, and our environment. I'm going to help you through that a little bit. So first, our words. Assignment number 1, decluttering your words. Now, the things that we say and the conversations we have around money sometimes can obstruct us from actually making that money. The conversations we have about jobs can sometimes obstruct us from actually going after the job we really want. The conversations we have about savings and investments and the thoughts we think about savings and investments include conversations with other people and conversations with yourself, like in your mind, right? So the conversations we have about savings and investments can obstruct us, it can create a form of clutter in our minds. So we don't actually achieve that goal. So we're going to declutter our words from, removing unhelpful words, removing unwanted words, right? Because clutter is usually disorganized and unwanted. And it's not that it's not useful, it's just really unwanted and disorganized. So we're going to declutter them. So I'm going to read out a few phrases, about 30 phrases, and I want you to score yourself and see, write a 1 if you actually say this phrase, and if you don't say it, just leave it as 0 and see what your score is at the end. So 1 if you say this phrase often, and a 0 if you don't say this phrase often. So I'll read out some words, some phrases to you. 1, money stresses me out. So write a 1 if you say that phrase often, and a 0 if you don't. 2, I'm afraid I won't have enough money. 3, I'll always be in debt. 4, debt is a way of life. 5, I'm afraid of money. 6, I fear managing my money. 7, I'm afraid to have too much money. 8, I don't like looking at my money. 9, I'm not really worthy to be wealthy, maybe just to be okay. 10, you have to be great at, and insert anything here, like you have to be great at being at your job, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be some kind of professional, or you have to be a government official, to make lots of money. So you have to be something that you're not, right? So the idea, so insert anything that you're not. You have to be a woman to make money. You have to be a man to make money. You have to be a tall man to make money, right? Anything that you're not. So you have to be X to make money. 11, you have to compromise your values to create great wealth. If you want to create great wealth, you have to compromise your values. 12, you have to work a lot to make a lot of money. 13, I'm jealous of wealthy people. 14, I don't trust wealthy people. 15, wealth will change me. 16, money is so confusing. 17, money is really complicated. 18, if I make a lot of money, I'll lose my friends. 19, I'm too busy to create wealth. 20, I don't know that much, or I don't know enough to actually be wealthy. 21, I don't have the right people around me to be wealthy. 22, I'm destined to stay in my class. I'm destined to stay where I am. 23, I don't like money. 24, I don't want money. 25, I don't really need money. 26, I don't have what it takes to create wealth. 27, I'm afraid of losing my money. 28, I spend as a way to avoid my emotions. So I spend when I'm happy or I'm sad and I don't want to think about it. 29, I fear having to take care of myself financially. I don't want to be responsible for my own self. 30, money makes me lose sleep. And the last one, 31, I depend on others for money. So if you think those thoughts or you have those kind of conversations with people and those are the kind of words that come out of your mouth, I want you to start looking as to why and decluttering them. We'll go deeper into this during these 30 days, but first highlight it, score yourself. Next place that we're going to declutter is your finances, right? So first, yesterday we had a look at your outgoings and your incomings. So look at your regular outgoings again, look back at that, and check through all the things you've been spending on. Have a look at, different things, your insurances, your gym memberships, your bills, your subscriptions, all those different items, and look at them and ask, are these costs, are they okay? Are they too high? Is there a better option? Are they replaceable? Do you use those things? Is it necessary? Are they things that you really want to use right now? Are they things you want to spend money on? Or, it could be your phone bill. Probably you could get a better deal on your phone bill elsewhere and still get the same calls, texts, and internet data. Maybe you could get something better. Your car insurance, maybe you could find a cheaper provider who would still provide you cover for, all the comprehensive cover, who still provide you the cover that you need. Your utility bills, the energy companies always hike their price. So you want to check, am I still getting the best price for this and for the electricity and the gas and everything that I'm spending money on? Or maybe there's a different provider who can still give me the same things and is not as expensive. So you want to check that, right? And make a decision about those things. Next is look at the payments you don't recognize. You want to make sure that every single thing on your statement are things that you've authorized and you know about. If you see any new payments that you don't recognize, you want to flag it. Call your bank, find out what was this payment for, do some research to ensure that they are all legitimate payments. If they are legitimate payments, then you can decide if you still want to keep going on with them. And if they are not legitimate payments, then you can report it and highlight it to your bank that, somebody has collected money from your account and it's without your consent, right? That would save you, a lot of money and, a lot of headache. Then also look through the things that you choose to keep. And if there are things that you spend on a weekly basis, you can calculate, I spend £5 every week on this, multiply by 52 weeks, and you know how much you spend every year on that item. And then you can decide, I'm spending this amount on this item every year. Or if it's monthly, multiply by 12 and decide I'm spending this amount on this item every month. And you can decide if you want to keep going with that or you would like to change that, right? Next thing to declutter financially are your old paperwork, right? So how many people, with a show of hands, raise up your hand if you have paperwork in boxes in your spare room, under your bed, in your kitchen, on your table, in a bunch of places, from bank statements to letters to so much paperwork, right? So much of our, our bank statements and things are now online, so we don't need to use that much paperwork anymore. But if you already have a lot of paperwork, of course, setting aside important documents like birth certificates and passports and really important documents, setting those aside. But if you have university certificates and all that, but where you have excessive paperwork that doesn't represent, it doesn't have any value, you don't need that paperwork, I want to encourage you to take it to a shredder and shred it, especially if it has your information on it. You want to shred it, not just roll it up and put it in the bin. So you want to shred it to keep your personal information private. So get rid of documents. It means less clutter, and less clutter means less stress for you. Third place of decluttering is our environment, physical and digital. I'll talk about the physical first. How many people have a bunch of clothes in their wardrobe that they do not wear, but it's choking up your wardrobe so you can't actually see the clothes you actually like to wear? Or maybe you have excessive Tupperware, bowls and bowls that don't even have the correct covers, all under in your kitchen, under your sink or something, and you don't use them, but you're keeping them for a day that you're actually going to use. Or you have bits and pieces that you've collected along the way and you just like to keep them and hold on to them for the special day when you're going to use them, but it hasn't come and you've had these bits and pieces for now 15 years. Or maybe you have expired beauty products or beauty products you don't even use in your, bathroom cabinet or your bedroom cabinet, and you just keep them there because you think, oh, maybe I would need it one day, but you really don't. Maybe you have excessive, too many snacks. So you have your toys that your kids have outgrown, but you still keep them and they take so much space, and every time your kids go there, they just make a big mess of it. But they take so much space and and they don't really even know the toys they like to play with because they have so many. Or maybe it's broken furniture. You have, broken furniture here and there, or broken pieces of electronics here and there, but you just can't get rid of it. So you keep it somewhere that you'll fix and you never actually fix it. And it's contributing to clutter. So you have clutter in your bedroom, clutter in the hallway, clutter in your kitchen, in your cabinets. On your kitchen table, you have clutter. You have clutter in your living room. You have clutter in your, in the garden, in the shed. Everything is chock full of clutter. It means you can't see. And every time you're thinking, oh, I need this, where could it be? One, you're not sure where it is. Two, just thinking about going through that clutter gives you stress, and it doesn't go away. It bugs on your mind. And then when you start thinking about other things that you want to think about, that clutter is still in your mind. It's still there. And it can't really hold back creativity, especially when you're trying to think of, oh, I need to think of a creative way to make more money, legally, of course. And that clutter is there. And we don't know that clutter is holding us back. Okay, digital clutter, right? That's the next clutter in our environment. Digital clutter, so emails, yeah? You go through your emails and you've got 1,000 emails a day or 100 emails a day, and you've got so many unread emails, and every time you look at it, it just gives you some kind of distress. We need to declutter your emails. Second thing that we need to declutter is subscriptions. Subscription emails on, to restaurants and beauty shops and clothing shops and entertainment houses, where they're constantly giving you this deal, this is on sale, this is buy now, pay later, for you to keep on coming to spend money. And it's unwanted, it's unneeded, it's not something that has crossed your mind on a normal day if the marketing didn't come through. So you want to clear that space, make room for actual, for clarity. You don't want to log onto your emails and spend the next 45 minutes scrolling through email after email after email and actually getting lost in all the emails and coming out of that feeling like I didn't even do anything productive. And 45 minutes is gone and it will never come back. So declutter your email subscription. Another place you want to declutter is our phones. We've got so many apps these days, and we have an app for every single thing. But take time. You know what you need and you know what you don't need. Take time to actually look through and declutter those apps. Group them into apps where, if they're all necessary, with the necessary apps that you want, you can group them into groups, or you can uninstall and delete apps that you do not need and you hardly use. Because every time you look at your phone and you see that clutter, and then you wake up and then you go down into your house and you see the clutter there, and you try and go log on to work for your, log onto your emails for work, and you see the clutter there, you're constantly feeding your mind with the idea that there's so much in your way. You're feeding your mind with obstruction. There's so much in your way. You can't see, you can't move, you can't do anything. And when the opportunities do come for you to make more money, for you to save more, for you to start investing and building your wealth, that pattern of thinking will still come through, and you'll start thinking, oh, but there must be some obstruction, or something may go wrong. Oh, how will this happen? Because we are used to thinking in that way. So today I want to encourage you to make space, clear out your words and conversations that are not helping you, clear out unhelpful and unneeded financial commitments in you via your bank, from looking at your bank statement, clear out unnecessary paperwork that you do not need, clear out unnecessary things in your environment and in your home that you no longer need, broken down stuff, excessive clothes, excessive plastic Tupperware, bits and pieces that you keep for that special day, and clear out your digital space, so your emails, your subscriptions and apps. Okay, so good luck with that, and I'm going to see you in day 7. Once you are finished with this, again, send me day 6 done. Day 6 done once you are done decluttering, starting to declutter today. With regards to physical declutter, sometimes it might take a bit of time, because a lot of times with the physical, we grow an attachment to it, because, as I said, that clutter did not start in the physical. It's manifesting from what is already in our mind, in our emotions, and in our feelings. So when we see it, we have a story, we have an excuse why we can't get rid of that, because it's attached to something inside us. Now it's for you to decide, to find out, why is it so attached to you? Why are you so attached to this particular clutter, and why you can't get rid of it? Why can't you get rid of the papers? Why do you feel like you're always going to need all the different, documents from schools or from different things? Why do you feel like you can't get rid of those clothes that you haven't worn in 10 years? Why do you feel attached to all those bowls when you hardly use them, or having 20 different pots when you only use 5? Why do you feel attached to things like that? And so you want to go through that. And once you understand and you can truly see why, you can break free from it. Clutter can also start with in toxic relationships. And toxic relationships doesn't always look like an abusive relationship. It can also be a people-pleasing relationship, where you can't say no. You always want to please someone. You always you're always compelled to say yes. You overstretch yourself. You become overwhelmed because you're compelled to say yes. And it's usually backed with a feeling of guilt and stress, right? So you know that you're people pleasing when you have some level of guilt, some level of stress, when you do force yourself to say yes to things that you really, really do not have interest in doing or want to do at all. And that also includes overstretched financial commitments. When you overstretch yourself, for yourself or even for other people, you overstretch yourself, financially. And so you're saying yes to taking extra commitments when your income cannot stretch that far. And that stress can start creating clutter in your mind, which can eventually manifest in your home. when you start seeing, having excessive things around you. And then finally, clutter can also start when we equate the value, our personal value, to having more and more possessions, right? And that's a real, it's a tricky place, because you do want nice things, but when you start thinking that the nice things make you who you are, then that is also another sign that there is some kind of clutter already, in our minds, and it can manifest in our physical environment, obviously, because you're going to have more and more physical material possessions. Okay, so I'll let you go there, and that's your task for today. Again, I'll see you tomorrow in day 7, and have a great day. Have a great day. Email me day 6 done once you are done. And if you have any questions, you feel free to email me, ask any questions that you have. Okay, great. Have a good day, and bye.